Sparkle is going to be coming out very soon in Honkai Star Rail. So today I want to go over her kit and her banner to really show how much value she has as a character and if it's going to be worthwhile for you to pull her on your account. And I think the biggest thing that I want you all to keep in mind during this video is, while people may think that, oh, because of what Sparkle does, she's really only going to be really good on like Imbiber Lunae teams or Mono Quantum teams, but I do think she's actually going to be a bit more universal than that. And we'll go over that as we talk more about what she does and, you know, go a little deeper into that. So firstly, to read the little like description that they have for Sparkle here. So she is a Quantum Harmony character, which is, you know, we always love to get new Harmony characters, and I always enjoy seeing new Quantums as well. So Sparkle is a support character capable of recovering skill points for allies and increasing the ally skill point limit. And additionally, she can advance the action of a designated ally to increase their crit damage, and she can also boost the damage dealt by all allies. So a lot of damage bonuses here, which is really solid for, you know, pretty much any DPS, I think. So let's move on into her kit now with the simplest thing to explain, just her basic attack. She will deal quantum damage to a single target. I don't think this basic attack will get that much use with her additional skill point limit and all the things she does regarding skill points. But I guess if you do need to basic attack for whatever reason, it is there, and it definitely will be helpful. And moving on to the skill, which is where you have a lot more value in her kit. You're going to be able to increase the crit damage of a target ally for a set duration, and it will also advance the allied action forward by a certain amount. I believe it's not as much of an action advance as Bronya's, but it is still going to be valuable to get you some extra turns for your DPS. Plus, with the extra crit damage, they're going to be doing a lot more damage. And they also have the thing of, if she uses her skill on herself, which I don't know why you would for anything, but if you did that, you wouldn't be able to get the action advancement on Sparkle. So you can't just keep bringing Sparkle up on the turn order. Then for her talent, which is also extremely powerful, whenever Sparkle is on the field, you will additionally increase the max number of skill points. And I know it's kind of small here. Let me zoom in for you all. It looks like it goes up to 7 there, even though they're not giving us the number, which is a really solid amount, honestly, especially for, like, I know Imbiber Lunae is one of the main topics of conversation when it comes to Sparkle. But it is, this is extremely good for him, because you're going to be able to get that 3 skill point enhanced basic attack a lot more often with this, which is just going to, lead to more damage. And even without Imbiber Lunae, for any DPS that uses skill points, you're going to be able to use their skill much more often, which is going to be really strong for your damage just in general. And whenever allies consume a skill point, then all allies will get a certain amount of damage increase that lasts for a certain number of turns and can stack a certain number of times. So yeah, we don't have those numbers until she actually will be in game. So we can't really comment on like how well it's going to stack and stuff like that, but this will be very solid to give you even more damage on the team as well. Then for her ultimate here, which is probably the most valuable thing she does in comparison to every other support, she recovers a certain amount of skill points for the team. Let's see if it actually shows it here. Okay, no, they don't show how many skill points it is, but if she recovers, I would say she probably will recover a decent amount. Like maybe like if the max is 7, I'd say maybe like 3 or so would probably be a good number. Of course, we'll see when the actual game is out. Like 3 or 4, I think, would probably be ideal. I mean, I had a dream that it was 4, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Then it also inflicts the Cypher effect on all of your team, and for the allies with Cypher, for every stack of the talent's damage boost, you're gonna get an additional damage bonus as well per stack with the Cypher, which is extremely nice to just further increase the amount of damage for a set duration. Which I also think that the talent's damage boost effect will be active all the time, so this will just be an extra boost for that damage bonus as well. Then we go on to her technique. So when she uses her technique, she grants all allies the misdirect effect, and characters with misdirect are basically in a stealth mode, and whenever you enter battle with this effect active, you'll recover a certain amount of skill points for the start of battle, which is really nice too, because I've noticed that having 3 skill points at the beginning of the battle, like, in a decent amount of teams is fine. But I do like having that extra cushion sometimes if I have like an extra skill point, because I do get one with the I believe it's the healing relic set. The forgetting the name of it right now, but the Pacify Wandering Cloud. Yeah, I think with the 4-piece effect, having like a 4th skill point has been helpful. But if this gets me even more than like 4 at the start, that's gonna be a really good cushion to just start doing a lot of damage right out of the gate. So, and this just feels like a much more like upgraded version of Sela's technique, because Sela just gave the it gave the stealth only on her, and then you go into the buff state, which is nice, but it's only for 1 turn. Whereas for this, you're getting skill points, plus you can use other characters' skills. So if you're if you're running Mono Quantum, you can use Silverwolf's technique to start. If you're running like Imbibitor, you can use his, and any other character that has an attacking technique, you can use them as well. So then now to go into her traces, and her traces are very interesting here. I mean, the first one probably the least interesting of the 3. So when you use your basic attack, there you can get some extra energy back, which I feel like this probably will not pop up in as many situations to use this, because you're going to be wanting to use her skill as much as possible. But I do think it might depend on how much energy her ultimate takes, since we don't have that info officially yet. So yeah, depending, like, if she has like a really expensive ultimate, then maybe you have to weave in like a basic attack or 2 to have proper rotations. But if it's cheap enough to where you don't have to do this, then you'll pretty much never really get the effectiveness from this trace. Then next up, her second trace, Artificial Flower. The crit damage boost provided by the skill will be extended until the start of the target's next turn. And this here is really good for characters that can do damage outside of their turn, which this is one of the 2 things, one of the 2 major things in this trace, is that goes to the point of she is more universal than I think people are really making her out to be. Because while the crit damage boost is going to be awesome for characters that can only attack on their turn, if you pair her with characters with this trace, characters like Dr. Ratio and Topaz, who can do damage outside of their turn, you're going to be able to benefit from that crit damage boost, which should be a pretty meaty crit damage boost, especially comparing to what we've had for Bronya ever since the game came out on her skill. So I do think that this is just going to be super beneficial for a lot more teams and just people who can do damage outside of their turn. So mainly follow-up attack characters. Not really going to benefit dot characters, unfortunately, because they don't crit on dots, but yeah, follow-up attack characters will also have some really solid value from running Sparkle as well. And then for the last major trace, we have Nocturne, which will increase all allies' attack, and additionally increases the attack of quantum characters based on the amount of quantum characters on the team. Now, a lot of people saw this trace and were like, okay, so she's just going to be on Mono Quantum and that's it for Sparkle. But that's not the case at all, because you are still getting an all types attack increase, which is going to be really good for pretty much any team you're running her on. She just is going to have that bit extra for Quantum. So that doesn't lock her in, Mono Quantum comps, because other elements won't get that secondary boost, but you're still going to get the attack boost, which I think pairing that with the all the value you have from the rest of her kit is going to be really good. And obviously the more attack you have, the more you're going to benefit from the damage boost through the talent, and then the extended damage boost from the ultimate. Then lastly, before I talk about my overall thoughts, I want to go over her banner real quick. So on her banner for the featured 4 stars, we have Sampo first, who I think is going to have the least amount of value with Sparkle. Like, I do think they could still benefit from each other, considering that Sampo does want to use his skill a lot, especially when you have him at higher Eidolons. But the crit damage boosts from Sparkle that she really focuses on don't really help Sampo, because dot damage does not crit, so you're not going to really be building crit on him. Then we have Qingque, which I think is going to be amazing with Sparkle, not just because of the quantum synergy, but also because Qingque loves to use skill points to be able to do her, do her little gambling and get her enhanced basic attack. So having more skill points available is going to be really good for her overall. So I think that she's going to pair very well whether you run a mono quantum team or if you just run like a hyper carry like Qingque, Sparkle, another support, and then a sustain could also work. And then lastly, we have Hanya, who I kind of want to test out with Sparkle, because they are the two characters that have a skill point recovery for the team built into their kit. And I feel like it might be a little overkill to be using both of them, but I low-key want to test it out and see how it performs, because it could be a kind of wacky team comp if you have like a double support like hyper carry kind of team with Hanya and Sparkle, where you never run out of skill points. But of course, I'll see, when I test it out. I do have a decently built Hanya, so we will see about that. But I do think she does have some value, of course. Even if you're not running her on the same team as Sparkle, just as a support, Hanya is going to be very good, providing attack and speed boosts on her ultimate, and then of course being able to recover skill points through the burden effect on her skill. So overall, I think Sparkle is insanely valuable. I do think that, across the entire game, she might not be as valuable as Ruan Mei. But of course, Ruan Mei, I think, is just a special case. But Sparkle definitely is, I do think, in the like top tier of Harmony support characters. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you all think of Sparkle. I do think that she is a very solid character to pull for a lot of accounts, to be honest. I feel like the only time where you might be like preferring other supports would probably be if your account is solely running Dot, because I do think that she doesn't have as much benefit for Dot characters. But if you're running any other kind of DPS, whether it be regular hyper carry, if you're running follow-up attack characters, I do think that Sparkle is going to be insanely good for you. But yeah, with that, I'm going to end it off here. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed and haven't already, definitely be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell. But with that, I will see you all next time.